Rhys, why did you want to play the Earl of Oxford and not William Shakespeare?
Well, because the Earl of Oxford in our film is the author of the most influential and exciting and sexy, dramatic, sensual pieces of literature that man has ever conceived.
How did you persuade Roland Emmerich that you were the perfect choice?
Well, you know, Roland was very brave, you know, and courageous, and I'll be forever grateful to him for doing that. But he made me work, you know. I had to read for him in his house in London, and then he flew me to Berlin, and I had to read again. I think maybe I'd convinced Roland in London, but I had to come to Berlin to, I think, convince maybe Sony Pictures or the studio, you know. And I think he sent the tape to LA, and they saw it and went, yeah, that's we like him, so yeah.
I read Roland say in an interview that you could connect to the role as you yourself often feel misunderstood. So why is that?
Yeah, I guess. I mean, on a basic level, possibly. Yeah, you know, this character was. I was at a time in my life or my career where I wanted to widen my horizons, you know, emotionally and creatively. I think I remember saying at one point, which is very telling, I called my agent the morning of the audition, of the meeting with all, and said, I don't know if I want to go because I think they're going to ask me to play Shakespeare. So I went anyway, and I said, no, I want to try and audition for the Earl of Oxford, you know, and I think it took a brave German to make that decision, so I'm very grateful to Roland for that.
In this movie, Shakespeare is the funny person, and of course you have been funny, very funny often in your career. Mm-hmm. Does it sometimes seem to be a curse for you, for example, that people remember Spikey from Notting Hill?
Well, no, occasionally, no, I'm very proud of that, and I do love comedy, you know. Not comedy as in, but humour has been my saviour throughout my life, you know. When times are hard, it's easier to laugh your troubles away than to indulge them. But this character allowed me to indulge my troubles or you know, my emotions in a way. So, yeah, you just make different choices, and this time I just wanted to be brave, you know. But I kind of fancy doing a comedy next.
The Earl of Oxford has a very particular look and style, and a lot of makeup. So what was your role model for?
Well, men that at that time would have worn a lot of makeup, you know, in varying degrees. Everyone wore makeup then, not necessarily to beautify themselves, but to cover up, you know, a plethora of illnesses, of venereal illnesses particularly. But Edward De Vere spent a lot of time in Italy. So when he returned from his Italian tour, he was referred to in the Elizabethan court as the Italianite Earl, which gave him, you know, he had a different dress sense. It was slightly more avant-garde and well-made than the rest of the court may have been. He'd learnt how to beautify himself. So, you know, we this is fact. We knew this. This is documented, you know. So when Roland and I spoke initially about it, Roland said to me, Karl Lagerfeld. And it made sense, you know. Just this, like, kind of very mannered person, you know, but very conscious of his silhouette. And I understood that, but then for the face and the eyes, I wanted to bring in like a David Bowie kind of thing, which I guess was another Berlin connection because he spent so much time here. So his smoky eyes, David Bowie's, and his costume is Karl Lagerfeld. But obviously it's a lot more complicated than that, I should hope.
In one scene, Edward De Vere says, I have a reputation to protect. How much did that remind you as your own life as a celebrity?
I have no reputation to protect. My reputation has always been in tatters.